All right, so I'm here talking about Borderlands 3. Again, this is going to be I want to say an honest review, but it's just going to be, all right, so here's the thing. All right, I got to explain this. I'm going to be saying what I believe to be facts about the game. Other people are going to say possibly that it's opinionated. I would like to hear some comments in the comment section so I can get other people's opinions and also what they think on the game if the video does well. So please leave a comment and I'll get back to you on it. But honestly, I'm trying to do a review on this game. I'm not the best when it comes to making quirky edits to really support all of my claims. It's based on just because I played the game and from what I see on a constant basis with this game. So whether it's going to be logical versus just how I'm feeling about the game, I believe what I'm saying to be factual. Other people might perceive it as an opinion. So I'll just get started with like what it is I'm trying to say in the first place. So the game as a whole is fun. The gunplay is definitely fun to play. I could see if you had more people to play with on like a full team of four, how it could get really crazy and nutty. But that actually there's no problem with. I like the weapons. I like, how the game plays. I like how it feels. It is a little buggy and crashes sometimes, but it's not that big of a deal. The gunplay, like I just said, great. The characters that are inside this world are terrible. So really the only characters you have are Lilith, Tannis, and the teenager girl that Maya was training that I don't even remember her name. They kind of suck. I don't like any of their characters. Tannis was good in 2, Lilith was good in Borderlands 2. All the other characters just kind of were junk. I didn't care about them at all, or in the slightest. I'm gonna be honest, they were probably the weakest forms of characters I've seen in modern video gaming. I just don't. I didn't like them whatsoever. They brought nothing to the table when it came to anything new. Oh, I'm also. This is gonna be more like a rant. Like I said, I don't really know anything. I'm not quirky and crazy when it comes to making like factual evidence. I'm just telling you because this is what I'm seeing. It was really hard to focus on just having fun in the game due to terrible dialogue from all the characters. It was getting annoying listening to it. This game probably has the worst antagonists uh or enemy in video game history. So there's these two characters named Troy and I don't even remember the girl's name. That's how uninterested. It was Troy and Cyrene. It was Troy. Oh, Irene. It was Troy and Irene. Troy and Irene Calypso, or was it Irene? I think it was Irene. I don't know. Troy and Irene Calypso, and they're just like TikTokers that take over Pandora through a cult following of people. Yeah, that's really it. That's their whole MO. And the reason what gave them this perceived notion on trying to take over all of Pandora and become gods was because they were isolated as children. That's really the only thing that in the story that I picked up on what their motives could have been for wanting to do this. I guess the two of them were like isolated as kids because they were two sirens, and sirens are in the Borderlands world supposed to be like the most sacred people, and they're like people that the Iridians give their powers to. So the mother and father of the Calypso twins wanted to keep them safe, so they were isolated on a planet. And I guess they hated it, so they started rebelling. So their characters are, in fact, rebellious teenagers, and they wanted to take control of Pandora by becoming TikTok famous and making a cult. I shit you not, that is the story of the game. So here's the thing. Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2, people may say this is a bold statement. I honestly think Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2 was the best video game villain in all of video gaming. I shit you not. Like a single man. You can obviously compare this to like different types of enemies in other games are the best, but I'm talking uh single hand bad guy is Handsome Jack, hands down. He was just such a cool character, and there were so many reasons on why he did what he did as a character. So it made for an interesting game. You know, Handsome Jack isn't the type of person you would normally see on an every single day basis, but this is what I believe. These two Calypso twins are not entertaining, and I don't know if the game developers at Gearbox saw that TikTokers were shitty and that would be perfect for our main enemy uh, in Borderlands 3. So we're going to make it so our fan base doesn't like TikTok and that's going to be the enemy of the game or whatever. I don't know if that's part of it, or I don't know if it was just bad writing, or they really just genuinely thought that this would be a good idea. In my opinion, the reason why the two Calypso twins are the worst bad guys in any video game ever. One, because it's hard to top what they did in Borderlands 2, considering all they did was make a remake game and lower the stakes. So it wasn't really as interesting. They didn't develop any new characters at all, and whatever characters they had, they left stale. Um, they could have came up with something better though. It's just funny because these two characters, people want to play video games. Like I'm hearing this word a lot, like I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. So yeah, it might be like influencing me in a little bit in my thought process, but it is true to an extent. Everyone talks about video games and escapism, and that's true because you want to play as a character like a vault hunter that is a complete awesome badass hunting vaults, killing guys, stealing loot, and do all that crazy things because you can in a video game and it's fun. That's what makes video games fun because it's a form of escapism. When real life sucks, you want to play a video game and like chill out and just relax and have a good time with you and your friends or whatever. Playing Borderlands 3 doesn't really satisfy my urge as escapism or just satisfy any urges at all or anybody else's urges of escapism because you're not just playing a video game. It's like we hear TikTokers and all this bull crap that's going on with like kids nowadays that like why would you want to play a video game that just reminds you of all the constant things that are happening like in real life? That's like if I was playing Call of Duty and the main story of Call of Duty was Russia versus Ukraine. And I'm just like, yeah, I get it, you know, but the way that the media is giving their take on it, and it's like sounds like all propaganda versus like actual theoretical things. Because I know, like in Call of Duty, like it's always at war with Russia, it's always at war with like Middle East, but it's like that's where the sense of realism comes into. It's like, yo, we're in the game, and there really was never that sense back in the day of this whole propaganda that was going on. We knew people back then like knew what was right and knew what was wrong. It seems like people's judgment nowadays is clouded. So whenever we get new games or something like that, I feel like people are just inputting their like methods of what they think should be in the game, even though it's not in the best interest for the game or the people trying to consume the game. Maybe Call of Duty was a bad example because, like I said, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at defending my case at all. Call of Duty might have been a bad example, but I'm trying to say it in the sense of like, if we're seeing something that clearly bothers a lot of people on a daily basis, like nobody wants to deal. Well, I'll just be 100% honest. I say nobody because I know a lot of people that don't, but maybe whoever is watching this doesn't agree with me. But in my personal opinion, I don't give a shit. Like, TikTok is the most annoying thing on the planet. TikTokers are the most annoying thing on the planet. I don't like social media at all. The only thing I like is YouTube, and I like video games. I like cars. I like complicated subjects. I don't know. Like I just I don't like social media. I feel like social media does a lot more harm than good. So when I'm playing a video game, it's literally anti everything that was fun. I'm a 2000s kid, so I'm born into this dumb generation of children, but I'm still like a little delayed and behind. I guess people want to call it on the maturity scale because 100% honesty, I don't, well, not my, I wouldn't say maturity scale, but in the scale of like age, I'm more along the lines of not the generation before, but like a weird era. Like I'm a, I'm a 2000s kind of like alternative rock kind of taste of a person, I guess you can say as an example. So whenever I see like modern stuff with like what the new kids are doing, I just don't care. Like some things I just don't, I don't know, it's so uninteresting to me like how modern day society is, and to see it kind of inputted into like one of my favorite video games just ruins the whole thing for me. But yeah, see what I'm saying? I'm already ranting. Yeah, it's just not good. It's just not good. And I'm not the only one who has this complaint because all this quirky dialogue stuff and TikTok being put inside Borderlands 3. It's just like I don't. Why are game developers thinking that this is a good idea? Like, do you remember when in Borderlands 2 they or Borderlands 1, like No Rest for the Wicked? Come on, man. Like that was such a cool song. And in Borderlands 2, I forgot what it was, but I'm like it's like ain't no place for a hero, ain't no place for a better man. Like I don't know the name of the song, but I'm like, oh, that's another cool one. But in Borderlands 3, we get who the hell? I don't know who the girl is. She's just a girl and she's on fire. Is that Mariah Carey? Hang on. She just and she's on fire. I'm looking this up. No, it's Alicia Keys. Like, yeah, it was a popular song growing up, but it's like that's not a song that you listen to in Borderlands. That's like gay pussy shit. I know it sounded dumb, but it's just dumb. Like it's so blah. Like who I don't know who the story of this game was intended for. I'm assuming it was intended for the new generation of children, but it's like why would even new generations of children play this? And when I say children, I mean kids that are like my age. I'm 23. I'm like most of the people I talk to are 20 or like 21. So it's just like there's like such a limited supply of people who I know who would actually enjoy this game narratively wise. Just uninteresting characters. All you have is Lilith, Tannis, and that edgy girl. And like all the characters that existed before, just they threw them out to like you got the B team with Brick, Mordecai, and Tina. That would have been so cool if they did like cool scenes with them. They were literally just in the game for like 2 minutes. And like Tina is such a cool character in my opinion. And like there was like a whole level based on her. And in this game, I felt like all the characters were just like it was just such a bad they just put it together just so bad. The first Vault Hunter, Typhon de Leon, like when you think of Vault Hunters, you think of badass, you know, edgy as hell, but still cool, like, or just cliche, stereotypical characters. But that's what makes them cool, is because you just get like in the first game, you had Brick, Mordecai, Lilith, and Roland. They were pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd say stereotypical, but they all fit the bill and they all made sense, so they were cool. And in Borderlands 2, you had Salvador, Maya, Axton, and Zero, and they all fit the bill. Borderlands, a pre-sequel, sucked. I don't even remember any of their names. I think you could play as Claptrap, though. I think, or and Handsome Jack. I don't remember. I don't remember Borderlands the pre-sequel. That was just a bad game. And in Borderlands 3, you get Moe's. I don't even remember the name of other ones. The only one I played was Moe's, and she's like this soldier person, whatever. So they're really cool, badass people, is what they're trying to be. Like that's the whole point of being a Vault Hunter. And you get this guy who is like 2'4", and he's the first Vault Hunter, and he just looks stupid. Like his whole character was dumb, in my opinion. Like he just looked like a version of a reject Super Mario or something like that. Like he just had this very annoying trait to him. Like he just seemed really dumb. And it's like these are just like skin deep surface characters. All of them were just throwaway, washed out characters, and they just didn't mean anything to anybody. So it was just really weird. It was just really weird watching my favorite childhood video game just go to crap. It's just, yeah, it's really sad. Uh, Also, I don't know if this is just me or not, but Troy, like I feel like they like just completely like is there? I don't think there's a single male in this game other than two of the Vault Hunters. I guess Zero, but he's never in the game. All the other they kind of just threw like the only main characters are girls, and even Troy as the main enemy just gets shit on all the time by Irene. Like I just don't understand the dynamic of the characters. They're just two immature teenagers with a cell phone or an Echo log that make TikToks for the planet. And that backed by all the dialogue. Like I never played Borderlands, the Telltale style game. Or it's not made by Telltale, but it's like the story based game. Like the in between game where they introduced Vaughn and Reese. And they say that they were really good in that game, and this game destroyed their characters. Let me tell you something. If this game destroyed their characters, like I didn't need to play the other game to realize that they were just bad characters in this game because I don't know who they were before, but whoever they are now, like they're just annoying. I'm gonna go back to it again. The dialogue is just so annoying. I'm gonna probably do more gameplay of the game with the dialogue off and the talk options, like everything just all talking off. I'm gonna turn it off because I actually enjoyed playing the game when it was actually just playing the gun part of the game. It was really, really fun, but it's just really sad and pathetic to see what is happening to like AAA games right now. And I guess Gearbox got a lot of flack for this too because it really I don't know if it put a dampener on sales, but I think they just got some bad feedback on the game. I really hope that all these game companies just start wisening up and knowing that their main audience are the people that are still in their 20s and 30s, mainly that grew up in the 90s, 2000s era that played these games like during the golden age times because all the people they're catering this game to like multiple audiences and it just doesn't work because you're just having this big controversial game that isn't really appealing to everyone. It's just kind of a piece here and there to make sales, but I don't know. It's just not good. It's just really not good. Yeah. I mean, I know I already had this kind of rant in a previous video that I named Borderlands Sucks. And I'm gonna be honest. Does it suck? Mm, I feel like the audio and the dialogue really kill the replayability. But out of a ten rating, I'd give it a, like a 5. I don't know. It's like I liked playing it, but I just like I was so like I memorized all the maps in Borderlands 2, which was so interesting to me because they were interesting. This game is just so washed. Like it's just like I have no desire to do anything because of there's nothing narratively driving me to want to do anything in the game. So I feel like I'm just constantly doing fetch quest objectives where I'm killing something or grabbing something for somebody and moving it here and go here and kill them and get this weapon for what? For nothing because it doesn't end up turning into anything. That's all. But on another note, the legendary spawn rates. I disagree with having legendary spawn every 5 seconds. That defeats the whole purpose of the game. All of the bosses in this game were just not good. Like they were just not fun to fight. Like it felt very like brain dead combat. Like this wasn't like Borderlands 2 combat. Like it felt like it was a different style boss battle combats where they had their set move sets, but it was so easy to predict what they were going to do. And the game is just so easy. Like it's too easy. I don't know if it's because they give you legendaries off the bat. I think I want to do some gameplay of me playing the game with a different character, only using white weapons. Like, I want to do challenges in this game because it was too easy. And just turn all the dialogue off and play the game in my own way to make it feel the way I want it to feel versus how the creators, they intended it to be kind of played, I suppose. But yeah, I don't I guess this game might have been made for like a sandbox just to play more Borderlands. I don't think I honestly I want to give the creators the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time I don't. I honestly think they just made this game as a sandbox so people could have more Borderlands content, new places to explore, and the story is just kind of there, but they didn't want to invest anything into it. I really wish game companies would be more honest when they talk about things like that because when you have to sit through minutes of dialogue that you don't feel like hearing, they should at least give some type of explanation on why this is like a common problem with these games that are coming out recently, like narratively. So, I mean, yeah, the legendary spawn rates are like every boss you kill, you'll get a legendary. Uh, that's not right because it just takes the need of like, there's no specialness. Like, don't even bother having purple weapons or blue weapons. You'll just get a legendary instead, and they'll end up just blowing the competition out with the regular weapons anyway. So there's no need. Like, I find that there's no need to have weaker weapons in the game because if the game's just going to give you legendaries, you shouldn't even have white weapons in the game. Like, you shouldn't have any weapons in the game. There's no purpose. There's no reason for it if they're just going to give you the best stuff right off the bat. So it leaves this like dead zone of progression where you just feel like you're in the same spot, but you're getting a bunch of legendary weapons that just have different abilities all the time, but pretty much just decimate the field. I probably died in this game a bunch, but to just dumb things like me killing myself. I probably died in this game about 5 times in total, and 3 of the 5 times I accidentally killed myself. I might have died like once or twice during a boss battle on accident because I was trying to figure out how the boss worked, and then the next time I went in there, I just mopped the floor. But other than that, the game is just brain dead baby easy. It's too easy. And yeah, once you beat the game at level 40, uh, yeah, they'll let you buff up the difficulty. But at that point, it's just like, yeah, even on normal mode on Borderlands 2 was more difficult. Like it was actually like you were playing a decently balanced game. Like even though you had OP weapons, the game felt more balanced, which doesn't make any sense because you know all the wacky and crazy items. You can literally get a pistol, like an infinity pistol in the game that shoots infinite bullets, but obviously they nerfed like the damage, so it's not the most powerful pistol in the game. Like even though the weapons were nutty and crazy, like the balance of the weapons was just like really good, I thought. Borderlands 3 doesn't really have that. Like I just have an arsenal of weapons. All of them are just killers. And there's no point of having any other types of weapons. It's like once you have your set weapons in the game, you're only going to really change them a couple times, maybe, if that, if you find another legendary that is like the previous weapon or similar or has some crazy ability to it. But you're not really going to be changing your main set of weapons so many times because they're just, once you find a really great legendary, you're not going to change it. So there's no point. Um, Yeah, so I mean, that's really it. Oh, wait, no. So another thing, we're going to all of these vaults. Remember how the warrior was in Borderlands 2 when you fought the warrior? That vault was like this lava battlefield or something. Yeah, that was cool. That was wicked cool. Like the arena before, or maybe it was the arena before you got into the vault. I don't know. Or was the thing protecting the vault? I don't know. But the warrior and the battlefield for the warrior, everything was cool. In this game, you have just flat battlefields for boss fights. The only interesting boss fight that people say was the one where Zero had a person impersonating him. But even that was just so easy that I just didn't really see it as like fun because he wasn't a hard boss to kill. All the all the boss fights in the game are like Dark Souls like arenas where they're just kind of flat areas to run around in and strafe across the enemy, but they're not even aesthetically pleasing. They're just like flat floors with like a divot in them, maybe, and like sometimes the floor moves. So I don't know. It's not like it's not interesting at all to fight a boss in the game. Like it kind of felt like I was fighting bosses in Kingdom Hearts versus a Borderlands game. So and I love Kingdom Hearts, but that Kingdom Hearts. This is Borderlands. Borderlands is not like that. Yeah. So it's just really weird how what the kind of the direction they went in. And let me tell you something. When you enter the vault, it's like the most empty room. It's just a big empty room. Like this is supposed to be a vault that the Iridians like shoved away that people they didn't want people to get in, so they put it under lock and key. A vault with a key to get in. Like that's what it is. But when you go into a vault, it's just like a room with like a couple of chests in it with like green weapons. So there's like no satisfaction in even wanting to go to a vault. It's like they just completely delegitimized the vault. Like the vault was like the thing. Like that's what you went to. Like that when that was important. It's called Borderlands 2 and you're a vault hunter. And being a vault hunter in Borderlands 2, it's like that was the whole main story of the game. This one, it's like, hey, you got a vault here, you got a vault here, you got vaults everywhere, vaults for everyone. And there's nothing in them. There's just green and white and maybe some blue and purple weapons. And yeah, you'll get legendaries, but it's like one. It's like I thought there's it's like I thought the vault was supposed to be full of iridium and cash and like so much loot and like explosive crazy loot all over the place and now it's just like a couple of chests in a room and it's like it's so underwhelming and lackluster. I'm gonna say that yeah, the gunplay in this game is fine. Everything else in this game is completely lackluster and just overhyped. I hate the cringy dialogue. I hate the characters. I hate the level designs of the bosses. I just didn't care enough and to want to invest the time into this world as much as I did in Borderlands 2 where I put hundreds and hundreds of hours and I just yeah, I I wasn't feeling it. Uh I don't really know if I have any other gripes. That's really it. But other than that, that's pretty much it.